Good morning. My name is Ashley Delane and this is Kelly Zeidler. We are certified mediators and have been trained to hear disputes such as the one before us today. Our purpose here today is to act as the mediators in this case and to assist you in the resolution of the dispute that brings us to the table. Let me begin by stating that I am not here to represent either side, any particular position. I will not express partiality or take sides during this process. My goal is to assist each of you in reaching an acceptable settlement of this matter. I have no power to impose a decision on you or to decide how this matter should be settled. In a mediation session, I ask you to verify that you willingly accept the opportunity to participate so that you are both comfortable with each other's good intentions. I will have you sign agreements at the end to participate in this process. Confidentiality is a critical part in this process. Generally, if you tell me something in private and ask me to keep it confidential, I am bound by law to not disclose this information voluntarily. Having said that, I want you to please remember the facts that were discoverable before this mediation session do not become confidential merely because they were presented during a mediation conference. It is only those things you say are right in confidence to me during the mediation that I will not disclose.
Okay, so before we begin, let me explain the procedure we will use. When I complete these preliminary statements, each of you will have the opportunity to make an uninterrupted opening statement to describe the problem as you see it. First, I will ask Mrs. Smith to make an uninterrupted opening statement. I would like it if both of you could explain yourselves from start to finish on the matter. Please keep in mind that we need to be respectful of one another and not to interrupt each other when we speak. Afterwards, I will then ask Pastor Simon to tell us his side of the story. After that, we will transition into a joint discussion centering on possible solutions, and I ask that each of you be thinking of how you might like to resolve this matter. If we reach an agreement today, it will be written, and each of you will be asked to verify and sign it. I will also sign as a witness. Each of you will be provided with a copy of the agreement today. At this time, please turn off all cell phones, pagers, and electronic devices. Let me once again congratulate you for being here today to try to work this out. Your presence here today demonstrates your willingness to attempt cooperative problem solving. Are there any questions at this point? Okay, so if not, let's proceed. Mrs. Smith, if you could please give us your point of view on the dispute.
Okay, so me and my husband just recently moved into this neighborhood, and we love it so far. Everything's great. The church down the street, it's okay, it's great, but the only problem I have is recently they've opened up a daycare center, and so there's been a lot of noises like kids crying and stuff like that. And me and my husband have just been worried about that because, I mean, we don't know what's going on. There's just always constant crying. I mean, we know kids cry, but for some reason we feel like the children there aren't being attended to. Also, I have problems with like all the parents driving around in the neighborhood, and parking is crazy now because there's just parents picking up their kids back and forth. And it's just been getting ridiculous. This was a quiet, nice, wealthy neighborhood, and now it's become just like a crazy neighborhood with parking problems and just crying kids. It's just been getting ridiculous. And it's not only me and my husband complaining, it's actually other neighbors have been complaining as well. So yeah.
Okay. Pastor Simon, if you could explain
Well,
your side of the story.
my side of the whole story. Well, the church wants to reach the community in other ways that don't have to deal with the religion and going to church, and we basically want to have a great community. And we thought, okay, well, it's a good idea to make a daycare, create a daycare that isn't this non-Christian, and it's able to take care of the children of other people. And we thought it'd be a good idea to have a daycare in, because that's we can help other families out. And now the problem is these people are arguing, they're unhappy about noise, but that's obviously going to happen. I mean, we've had a daycare already before. We've been having one for years, so I'm not sure why they've specifically decided to argue about these things right now. It makes no sense to me. And well, it's a daycare center. I mean, we don't operate you know, very early. We don't also operate very, you know, late. We close at like 5. So I don't see why, you know, they have to complain about noise complaint. I mean, they'll be able to wake up whenever they can, and they'll be able to go to sleep whenever they can. And so, I mean, that's basically it. I mean, they're kids. My only issue is I've seen a lot of adults or neighbors, they go around and they verbally, not abuse the children, but they do tell them to shut up or like be quiet in a very aggressive tone, and you know, obviously that's unacceptable. I mean, you wouldn't see, you know, any adults stooping to that level, you know, trying to, you know, calm down the kids. That's just not the way to go. And then sometimes they would, or other people would come over with their cars and they would honk the horn, you know, as aggressively as possible. I don't know what they're trying to get at. So, I mean, that's the only issue the church really has.
Well, my husband and I have a baby too, and we realize that, you know, babies make noise and it's gonna happen, definitely, but we just feel like the children there aren't being attended to, like they're constantly crying and stuff, and I feel like we feel like nobody's helping them out or like feeding them or anything, because why would they be crying so much? It's like excessive crying, and we
Well,
feel like
has there
they're
been-
not being attended to.
Okay, has there been an increase in the amount of children that you're taking care of? Is that why there's been
Well,
starting to be noise complaints?
no, we might think that the topography of the church's grounds, maybe that's why there's some acoustics going on. So maybe, because I've had complaints over neighbors telling me that they can literally hear every conversation that happens on, you know, the church's grounds, and that might be due to the, you know, the way that the structure has been built or what have you, right? So I mean, that's out of my control, right? I'm not going to tear down the church or well, move it, right? Because we're trying to reach the community here, and we've been here for over like 30 years, and
So,
we've been doing I think we've been doing a great job. So, but yeah, I don't think, I mean, there's a possible solution to, I guess, altering this church's structure so that there isn't so much noise. I mean, believe me, we're not trying to be as noisy as possible, but as you said, we are definitely helping the children out. It's not like we're not supervising them. It's not like they're unattended at any time of the day. Yeah, you know how children are. They cry and they play and they shout for any good reason.
right, well, just for some clarification, so this program that has been back at the church is a new program,
Yeah, it's a new program.
but there have been other programs in the past
Yeah,
similar
there have
to
been
it?
other programs.
So were you getting complaints in the past from
Well, no,
the program?
this whole like, no, this is
No,
all,
all new?
yeah, these all complaints are just
Okay.
stemming from this new program, which makes no sense. I mean, we've had daycares before,
Mhm.
but this one's just different.
This is just the amount of
This one's-
students, or I mean, not students, I apologize.
Well, I mean,
The
we
amount of
have-
children you're taking care of?
Well, okay, well, the last program, we had about like a capacity of maybe 30 kids. And this one, we kind of bumped it up to like 40 because we have new, you know, structures in the building, or in the church, I guess, yeah, in the surrounding. And we have a few portable, I guess, buildings, if you want to call them. And so we use them sometimes to put the children inside if, you know, we want to teach them something, you know, or read to them. So, but it's not a drastic change, not one that, you know, would ask for complaints. So that's the only issue here. I mean, you tell me, do you think 30 to 40 is that big of a number, that big of a difference? I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so it seems like with Mrs. Smith, with you and some of the other neighbors, it seems to be like a sound issue, and also you're kind of worried about the children not being taken care of, but as Pastor Simon said, they are being taken care of, but, and then your concerns are with the neighbors honking and.
Well, yeah, I
it's
just
like
think it's
aggressive.
unacceptable that adults are trying to get the children to be quiet in that way. I mean,
Yeah.
normally we just say, hey, please keep it down, or go to a supervisor, of the daycare. But
Well,
to go
me and
here-
my husband weren't part of that.
no, that's fine. No, I'm not saying you were. I'm saying, maybe other neighbors, and that's the problem here, right?
And do you think neighbors were intentionally trying to act aggressively toward the children, or trying, when quiet, to move them down?
Well, I mean, so here's the fact. The fact is, people have told the children to be quiet, yes? But in rude manner, in rude ways. And they've also used their cars to honk at them. So, I mean, is it intentional? Of course. They have every intention to I guess, scare the children so that they don't make
Well-
the same amount of noise.
well,
I
you know
mean,
what, just-
that's my only observation. I'm sorry. Let me finish, please. And so that's my only observation. I mean, you can't accidentally tell a little 2-year-old to shut up, right? I mean, your intention right there is pretty clear with the action that you're undergoing.
Well, to speak on behalf of the neighbors, I was just gonna say that, I mean, we pay good money to live in this neighborhood. It's a really good neighborhood. And, the program they have kind of is the noise they're making, and they built a playground of some sort, and it looks kind of cheap, and, we feel like that it shouldn't be there, and it's kind of causing a nuisance for us, like having their center.
But the only
make
complaint is the noise, no? Or is it a safety issue as well?
Well, the noise, the parking, the people,
And parking?
everything.
But they only
is
park
causing-
in the church's parking lot.
And, well, no, they park around the streets too. And on top of that, the parents have been driving crazy. I've almost gotten hit twice by parents reckless driving. So, I mean, I know it's a public thing. There's going to be a lot of different people, so there's going to be a lot of different problems having all these people attracted to our neighborhood
Mhm.
and coming to our neighborhood.
Well, one thing I don't understand is why would there be so much parking? I would only understand that parking would be a temporary thing, since they're dropping off their kids and picking them up in
Yeah,
a
but
span of like 5 minutes.
I think still I don't know that they're coming down.
And the crazy driving, I mean, that has nothing to do with the church or the daycare. That has, you have to deal with the parents, because I'm not them.
Do you have times during the day when there's like playtime for the children and there's like a
Yeah, of
quiet time
course.
for the
I
children
mean,
as well?
we always have different activities for the children. It's not all just play. I mean, it is a daycare,
Do they
right?
have-
So we do put them inside,
Mhm.
and they can play or do other activities such as arts and crafts, or, like a normal daycare, right? And there are always designated times for when they're allowed to play. And see, that's what I don't understand. We're not letting the children play out in the playground for, an extended amount of time. This might only be like an hour, maybe. Maybe if we decide to be, if they behave well, then maybe an hour and a half of playtime. So, I mean, and like I said before, I mean, these recreational, I guess, time periods, you could say, they're not scheduled at untimely hours or inconsiderate hours.
So roughly like middle of the afternoon?
Yeah, it's like 11 when everyone is at work, But I do understand that people don't go to work and they have families or they have newborns and they have to take care of them. But see, I mean, I can't really change anything over the structure or the program.
Would you consider maybe talking to some of the parents about the parking issues and maybe slowing down the driving?
Yeah, I mean, in the concern of the parking, yeah, they could probably park somewhere else.
Okay, or just in
Somewhere
the church
farther.
vicinity?
Somewhere farther. I mean, the only issue is could they get tickets if they were parking near this neighborhood?
So,
Can they? Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Is there like a, sorry,
Sorry,
I'm
say
sorry. Is there like a rule where they can't park at a specific time? Because if that's the case, then they should not legally be allowed to park.
Well, that we'd have to take it up with somebody else, but I think, yeah, like if it's disturbing people in the neighborhood that pay good money to live there, I think that would probably
Because I have no issue with telling the parents to park a little bit farther and they can just take a walk and, you know, take their children and go as they please. So, I mean, that's not my issue. My issue is the aggressive, you know, adults who've decided to stoop down a level and, you know, physically abuse the children, which I believe that this is not okay.
Well, Ms. Smith, that is one of your issues though, right? Parking, this parking situation?
Yeah, the parking situation.
So-
Just the constant driving back and forth, like all the parents like,
Okay.
going in and out of the neighborhood.
Right, because it's a disturbance.
Yeah.
So considerably, if the county was contacted and, I'm not sure, but is the street zoned? Like by driving regulations or speed regulations?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because if it's not, I think contacting the county to get like some zoning laws in
Mhm.
place for that street could dramatically affect
Well-
parking and the driving along Lily Road, correct?
We have a
Yes.
daycare center, so
Right.
we have signs that say, you know, be careful of children, and we recommend it, obviously 25 miles per hour. And if they see any children, then
Right.
go slower, so.
But recommending and having law, like stated law is different. So if it's
Agree.
stated, that might be a possible solution.
Yeah, I agree. I think the parents would be more like willing to actually follow the rules if it's no law. You know?
So then that would make you happy? Partially?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. I mean, that wouldn't really help the noise. I mean, it'd help a little bit, I think, but as far as the noise goes, I don't know how that issue could be solved.
Have you maybe considered lowering the amount of children that you take care of? Is
Well,
it-
I mean,
I don't know if it's
I
an
don't-
excess
I
to
don't-
you
I don't
or if
think-
it's just an
well,
issue for them.
I mean, the issue is they can hear almost, or they say,
Mhm.
they can almost hear everything. So it doesn't matter if I decrease the number of children or whatnot. I mean, it's not like they're screaming at the top of their lungs, they're just laughing or playing. Or maybe the occasional, you know, kid that has an accident, right?
Well,
But
that's
there's nothing out of the ordinary with in terms of volume. I mean, unfortunately, you know, they can hear everything because the way that the church is structured. But we don't have the funds to move or change anything, so.
Well, that's also my issue. We feel like that the kids aren't being properly cared for, which is why there's a lot of crying and noise. I mean,
Where do you get this?
we just
Why- why
like
do you
constantly hear crying and wailing from children, so it's like, what's going on in there, you know? It kind of makes us think. We have a baby too, so we understand these things, but we feel like that center just specifically is like a lot of crying. It's
But
like
you have to
excessive.
take into consideration that we're taking care of children that are between 2 months old, and you know how they can get when they're 2 months. What is their only way of communication? Do you know?
Well, yeah,
It's
definitely,
just-
like they
they
cry
just
and
cry.
stuff, but like, do you guys have
They're not going to
proper,
talk.
the
They're not
proper
gonna speak.
like
Of course, yeah, we have,
people and
Yeah.
equipment and stuff to
of
take
course,
care
we
of the
have
children?
volunteers. I
That's
mean,
what our main concern
the
is.
3 main persons who are working with us are nurses. They take their time out of, you know, their shifts to come and help. They're members of the church as well. Sometimes we get volunteers, you know, the mothers, they also help out as well. So I mean, we have well-experienced staff, and they're helping us. Like I said, you have to take into consideration that the children are going to be, they are very young. I mean, we only take care of children that are between 2 months and 2 years, 2.5 years. So obviously they're in the stage where, you know, any little thing, they're going to be complaining or crying, and that's just what children, that's what they do. I mean, we can't do anything else. What are you gonna do? That's nature.
Mrs. Smith, you and your husband are new to the neighborhood, correct?
Yes, we recently moved.
Okay, so in the past, since the church has been there, have you talked to other neighbors, and has there been a past issue with the noise level?
When we first got in, no, there was no issue, but a couple months into it, yes, we
You
started
noticed?
noticing like all the noise and the people, parents going back and forth, and yes, some of the other neighbors have complained as well, and talked about it, and, you know, discussed about it.
So I feel like this all stems from this new neighbor that recently just moved in. I mean, I don't want to offend anyone, but maybe this particular, family unit is a little bit more picky than the ones that have been, living here or living in this neighborhood in the past.
Yeah, we definitely brought it up, but that's only because, we spend good money to live here,
Yeah, that's
so.
fine.
And we don't plan on moving out anytime soon, so we do want to have a good connection with the church and the community. But, I just don't see how we can find a solution to the issue.
So the amount of like quiet time that you have with the children that you take care of, is it a considerable amount of time? Do you
Well,
believe that maybe
it's
it should
basically
be a little
80%.
more?
It's 80% of the time that they're there is, indoors. I'm not sure you guys can hear what is happening indoors. If so, then you could say that this issue is, unrepairable. Because if you could hear whatever is happening inside, then
Or maybe you could,
I can't do anything about that.
if you would consider maybe having more of a downtime for the children, maybe that would help with at least a little bit of the noise, maybe we could sit a little more on nap time, I don't know.
Well-
Just an idea, what do you think?
Well, I want to know why. Okay, the noise is an issue. We know that. And unfortunately, everyone can hear almost everything that is happening outside. Only outside, right? Of course.
Yeah.
So, does it matter? I mean, if we are willing to decrease the amount of time that they're outside, because I'm sure we can move them to like the auditorium and they can do something else inside. But sometimes we like getting them outside and they can play or whatever. So, do you think decreasing the amount of time that the children are outside, do you think that would help
Yeah, I think that
in
would help
regards
a
to these
lot.
complaints? Yes?
Yeah. And if like, wow.
Because I want to know too, like, is the noise, or the amount of time that the noise is happening, is that excessive? I want to know.
Yeah, it's mostly when the children are outside, obviously. There's still noise goes on like when they're inside, but outside is definitely like a lot more. So I think maybe if they were, not outside for so long, that would help. Or when maybe on work, me and my husband are at work or something like that, and they're outside, I think that would help a lot more. It's
Okay.
just, when we're, after a long day of work, we come home and then we hear that noise. It's just like too much. And plus our own child we have to take care of. So, I feel like it's just overwhelming how much noise there is.
So, would making a set time frame where or when the children can play outside be of benefit to you?
Yeah, that would help a lot actually, if we like if we can come up with a good schedule.
So, I also want to say that maybe if we give the schedule to every neighbor, and so they are aware,
So they're all informed.
they're all informed when the children are going to be outside and for however long they are going to be outside. But yeah, and definitely for, we can work something out. We can put them in the auditorium, as I said, they can do activities, because it's a fairly large auditorium, so they can do a lot of things inside.
Okay, I think that's a great idea,
Yeah.
creating a forum, and also maybe we could create a forum where all the parents of the children could get something for the parking.
Yeah, of
And that
course.
could help
Maybe
decrease
like
the parking, safety
a limited parking
issues.
permit, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can understand how frustrating that can be in regards to parking.
Yeah, definitely. And
I'm only here just to make sure that the neighbors are, we can come to an understanding. And the most important thing is that the church is involved with this community. That is the first thing, the primary objective.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, well maybe by providing these forms and being able to go hand them out, you guys can maybe come together a little better with this as well, and that would, obviously show that you are making an attempt to, nobody wants to not, fight with the church, so
yeah, definitely.
that's showing more progress.
If there's a schedule out, I would definitely reconsider the lawsuit that I was trying to do. So, but it has to be, I think, like a really organized set schedule.
I think a good thing in order to, since I mean we did pay for the play structure, right? And I think a big issue with this church is, well, we're very tightly funded. We don't make a lot of money because it's a church. And we're not like Apple or Microsoft where we make billions upon billions. So I think it'd be within everyone's interest that the church receives at least a donation from the neighbors in order of, you know, because we're not going to be paying for like parking permits or whatnot, because that costs money to print out paper, to get that customized. The schedules as well. I mean, we can do the schedules, that's fine. But we'd have to I would say in order to keep the children's interest, if they are inside, we're going to have to buy, you know, new things, new activities, new, I don't know, products, so that the children are, you know, they're busy, so that they're busy inside and not creating so much noise outside. So I think it'd be in the church's, you know, I think it'd be a big help from the neighbors, or anyone else for that matter, to give us some donation,
Okay.
at least.
Maybe when you attempt to distribute the forms that you can,
We can probably put that there.
right.
That would
And
be
for
nice.
those that want to donate, hopefully the neighborhood community can come
Right.
together.
Also possibly asking for donations after service on Sundays
Yeah,
of the church members.
I mean, we already do get donations from the people from the congregation that, you know, are present on church days, on Sundays, and other days as well. So, I mean, it'd be very beneficial, very, very nice to receive donations from other people from our community as well.
I mean, my husband and I would consider, yeah, donation if that's what the church really needs in order to, you know, keep the noise down.
Okay. Okay, good. So we've definitely made a lot of progress here. We'll create the form for parking, and then you can hand that to all the children's parents, and then the form for the neighborhoods, for all the neighbors for the limited child play. And then you were saying that you would consider dropping the lawsuit against Pastor Simon and the church. Okay. Okay, perfect. Let's see here.
Are there any other ideas that you feel would help aid the situation?
Well, I mean, obviously we don't want a repeat of what other adults have been doing in terms of aggressively, you know, having an interaction with the children.
So possibly maybe when you report back to the neighbors on the issue at hand, a discussion can be had about possibly speaking or trying to speak, I guess, more respectful or less abusive
To the children.
toward the children.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I agree with that,
I don't think,
definitely.
I don't think it should be them trying to lessen. That should be completely cut out.
Right.
I don't think that's unacceptable. I don't think anyone thinks that
It's acceptable.
that it is acceptable.
Right.
I believe that you should go to the neighbors and tell them that a solution is being worked on. And so that, obviously, in the future, if any of this happens ever again, me or anyone who is involved in the church definitely doesn't have, we will not hold back. I mean, we will call the cops. This is unacceptable. Because who knows what else they can, you know, do after they scream.
But
you know.
most importantly, to inform, because you still can't control anyone else's actions. But as long as they are informed of everything.
Yeah, I think it was just more out of frustration from the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, hopefully if that's settled, then they wouldn't do that either.
Well,
We
yeah,
don't,
I think
want
the
that
important thing
either.
is that they are informed that a solution is being worked out, and
Mhm.
hopefully this will curb their, you know, these kind of actions.
yeah, I agree. They shouldn't be doing that to the children.
Okay, wonderful. So let us write up the documents at in the agreement, but other than that, do you have any other pressing concerns with the issue? I think you made a lot of progress, and you know, you're starting to come together, and that's a good thing, you know, for the church and the community to come together. It's really important, especially since you've been there for so long, and you're taking care of children, and it's good, so. Good, okay, perfect. So do you, okay, so Ashley, do you have the forms for them to sign?
Yes. Okay.
Wonderful, okay, thank you very much, Mr. Simon, Mrs. Smith.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
Good morning, my name is Sabrina Morad and this is Rudy Reyna. We are certified mediators and have been trained to hear disputes such as the one before us today. Our purpose here today is to act as the mediators in this case and to assist you in the resolution of the dispute that brings us to this table. Let me first begin by stating that I am not here to represent either side or any particular position. I will not express particularly or take sides during this process. My goal is to assist each of you in reaching an acceptable settlement of this matter. I have no power to impose a decision on you or decide how this matter should be settled. In a mediation session, I ask of you to verify that you're willing to accept the opportunities to participate, so that both of you are comfortable with each other's good intentions. I will have you sign this agreement to participate in the process before we begin. Confidentiality is a critical part of this process. Generally, if you tell me something in private, or if you tell Rudy anything, ask me to keep it confidential, I am bound by law not to disclose this information voluntarily. Having said that, I want you to please remember the facts that were discoverable before the mediation session and do not become confidential merely because they were presented during a mediation conference. It is only those things that you say or write in confidence to me during the mediation that I will not disclose.
Before we begin, let me explain the procedure we will use. When I complete these preliminary statements, each of you will have the opportunity to make an uninterrupted opening statement to describe the problem as you see it. First, I will ask Ms. Lockhart to make an uninterrupted opening statement. I would like it if both of you could explain yourselves from the start to finish on the matter. Please keep in mind that we need to be respectful of one another and to not interrupt each other when we speak. Afterwards, I will then ask Pastor Grace to tell us her side of the story. After that, we will transition into a joint discussion centering on possible solutions, and I ask that each of you will be thinking of how you might like to resolve this matter. If we reach an agreement today, it will be written, and each of you will be asked to verify and sign it. I will also sign it as a witness. Each of you will be provided with a copy of the agreement today. At this time, please turn off all cell phones, pagers, and electronic devices. Let me once again congratulate you for being here today to try to work this out. Your presence here today demonstrates your willingness to attempt cooperative problem solving. Are there any questions at this point?
No.
No, we're all good. If not, let's proceed. So, Ms. Lockhart, if you could please give us your point of view on the ongoing dispute.
Sure. So my husband and I have recently moved into this neighborhood, and several months ago, the church decided to lease a space to little school for children, and the noise is just ridiculous. I don't understand why there's so much noise going on. I mean, it doesn't make sense, and I'm still trying to fathom what parents would drop their kids off at a daycare all day. I mean, I'm a lawyer, I work long hours, and so does my husband, and we still make the time for our child. So I mean, I don't get the logic behind it, but I mean, the noise is ridiculous. And now that this new program has been added to the church, the traffic is so crazy on this street. Why is there so much traffic? The parking is ridiculous. People are speeding and honking and making noise. We don't have time for this. So, no, I don't know what the church is doing. Pastor Grace, right? I love the church, and I'm a godly woman myself, but yeah, the children, they cry a lot, and I feel like they're being neglected. Like, do you watch the children? Are they being supervised? Because I don't understand why would they cry so loudly all the time. I mean, it is your job to watch them, correct? I just don't. Do you watch the children? Are they being supervised? I mean, the noises I hear, it doesn't sound like it. Let me tell you. I mean, who's on your staff? Who do you have working? Do you have professionals? Are they trained? Because I'm not quite sure they know what they're doing, because these children are just screaming dramatically, and they just go screaming on in without, like, continuation, without being helped or aided. I don't understand. Oh, and yeah, it's not just me with this problem. I've met with several other neighbors, and we've all discussed, and we all have a problem. So yes, the church has been here for quite some time now, and there have been other programs in the past, but what are you doing differently this time? Because, I mean, I'm new to neighborhood, but I spoke with them, and they said that it was never this bad. They didn't hear these noises like this. So, I mean, you guys have to be doing something different over there. I mean, it doesn't add up. And every time I call, all I get is a secretary. And the secretary just basically just gives me the runaround and doesn't do anything. Like, I feel like I need to speak to someone. Do you have professionals working there? I don't know. I don't know how, like, you work the church system and how that goes, but I mean, I know we take professionalism very, very serious, and I just don't understand why I can call and call and call, and my calls are not answered, the secretary answers them, and then still the noises go on, and I'm like asked to speak to someone higher. Oh, they're not here right now, I'm sorry, we can't help you. Why can't you help me? It's your job to help me. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe walking in my own neighborhood because of all the traffic and the cars this program was brought in, and these parents driving so crazy. I mean, are they good parents too? Like, think about it. Like, they're dropping their kids off at a daycare, and then they're like speeding dramatically to get to the daycare. Like, I feel like the children's lives are in danger at home and when they come to your daycare center, because they're not being helped either way. But I mean, that's all I have to say about it.
Okay, Pastor Grace.
Okay, so I am an associate pastor of the church at the House of God, and we did recently have the daycare for little tots, and it's 2 months to 2.5 years old, and there's about 60 children that come to stay with us, and we have plenty of staff. We're definitely taking care of all the children, but with 60 children, all it takes is one child to start crying to have, and then another child to start crying, and that's, we definitely take care of them, but it just so happens that that's the age that happens to, because we have to constantly feed them, and when they cry, and we take care of them. But my issue, however, is that a lot of the neighbors have been, screaming at the children and telling them to shut up, and they're 2 years and younger. They don't, they shouldn't be talked to like that, and I just think that the neighbors are being very aggressive. We've been here for, well over 30 years, and we don't plan on leaving. Little Tots is taking care of, partially our rent, and we need them, and it's a great, I believe it's a great thing for the House of God to have this organization, because we're trying to reach people that just aren't, not just Christians, but to the whole community, because we want to be able to take care of, the children of the community. And some of the parents in our community are, they have to work those long hours, and we want to be able to help them. And so that's why we take care of the children. And yeah, my concern is basically with the neighbors screaming at the children. And, so it's been an ongoing situation. And I don't want to be able to fight with the neighbors. And I think that they're just being very oversensitive, and they never used to be like that. I am kind of bewildered, because I don't know if it's our new neighbors that are causing these issues, because we've never had issues with the neighbors before.
So are you implying new neighbors as in me and my husband, or my husband and I, because we're new neighbors? I just want to make things clear. What exactly are you implying?
Yes, I do. I think that.
So the new neighbors are a problem for you?
No, I don't say that they're a problem. I think maybe this is where the issue is stemming from, because we've never had it
From the new
issue.
neighbors, correct?
Yes.
Right, okay.
So how long has the program been running for?
The program has been running for roughly a year now.
Yeah, and the church has been there for 30 years, you've said. So I have a question. You said you like to reach out to the community and everything. So what part of the community, or where exactly is this community that you're reaching out to? Because I might add, this is a very affluent neighborhood, and I mean, people who live in this neighborhood make a good amount of money, and it's just so baffling to me that this church has been here for so long, and it looks the way like it does. Not that like looks are everything, but I mean, we have to keep up. I mean, this is the neighborhood that we live in, and it just looks so like cheap and shabby, and I feel like if you've been there for 30 years and you have this great community that you reach out to, where is this money going to? Why aren't you repairing the church and helping to make it appear to look better? I mean, it's such a sore sight in our neighborhood. I mean, it's a great place, oh yes, but I mean, it's such a sore sight to look at. I don't get where your funds are going.
So is your issue with the looks of our church? Because there's these multi-million-dollar homes recently popped up. We're limited, we don't have a lot of funds, we're a church, and a lot of people that are in the community don't attend this church.
Right, that's interesting to me. They don't attend this church, but they bring their kids over here to attend a church that they're not even a part of the community. It's just,
Okay, so why don't we go through your needs? What do you want to happen?
well, the noise has to stop. I can't get work done. It's crazy. I don't think these children are being attended to. It has to stop. That has to go. I don't feel safe in my own neighborhood. I pay too much money and work too hard, work so many long hours to come home and to hear all this noise, and it doesn't work. No, that doesn't work for me. So the noise has to stop. I need to feel safe. These people that are coming into our community to attend this church are driving recklessly. They don't need to drive that fast. There's no need to rush. Why are they driving so dangerously with their children in the car? I mean, they're speeding through my neighborhood. I mean, I almost got like hit by a car. Why would I get hit by a car? That's in my own neighborhood. That's never happened before until this program arose, and these people from outside the community are coming to this church seeking whatever they seek in the grace of God. But the noise has to stop. I don't feel safe, basically.
Well, we don't plan on shutting down our Little Tots program.
Yeah, I don't plan on moving, so.
Well, the noise, they're young children from 2 months to 2 years old.
Yeah.
And the location of our church is like, it has the Greek amphitheater effect. So you hear so much as a sneeze and the neighbors call and complain. And we're taking care of young children, and we don't plan on stop taking care of the children.
Oh no, I don't want you. I want the children to be taken care of. That's another issue. I just don't feel like they're being taken care of. So I don't understand why this program in particular, the noises have my neighbors have told me that the noise level has never been this bad, and there have been other school programs at the church in the past. I just don't understand, what are you doing differently this time for the noise to escalate like this? I don't think the children are being taken care of, and I want them to be taken care of. I mean, I have a little girl of my own. So
Do you
if
feel
I
like-
can,
oh,
sorry. So if I can intervene for a little bit. So what you're trying to say is, you don't have a problem with the church. You have a problem with this current program and the way it has been set up for, right? Because there haven't been any complaints from.
until now, yes, that is
Until
one
now.
of my problems. One of my problems.
But see, the needs, or the things that have to be taken care of, for you, at least the needs and for the neighbors, are the noise complaints and security, and you can have a little bit more leeway through the neighborhood because of a lack of space,
Yeah,
because of
safety.
the traffic.
Can we work on bettering the look of this church? I don't.
We're a church, we run on the donations that we get from the community, and we're clearly not getting the donations from these multi-million-dollar homes, so we can't improve our looks when we don't have, the same upkeep as the funds of the neighborhood around us. But we have been here for a long period of time, and this is our home. We have the same members that we've had for, many decades of years, and families that come, and we have barbecues, and we, try to reach out to the community, we try to reach out to the neighbors, and, it hasn't, we haven't.
So we
gotten
definitely need to find a solution to this problem, because obviously the church isn't gonna go anywhere, and you or your husband or your family aren't gonna go anywhere. So we need to find like a common ground for you guys to accept this, because you guys aren't gonna go anywhere, correct?
That is very correct. I'm not moving anywhere.
And so you feel like you and your husband work hard and you pay a lot of money to live in this neighborhood, and you would like to be appreciated.
Exactly. I mean, this monstrous school, I mean, it's causing my husband and I to have marital problems. And we're even considering going to counseling to fix our marriage. This is just such a big issue. And honestly, if we cannot meet a resolution, I will file a lawsuit. Because I just don't have the time. This is just too exhausting for me. I don't have the time
So
for
it's
it.
definitely taken a toll on your life.
Oh yes, most definitely.
But so you believe that the noise and all of these things that are happening because of the new program, you think this directly influences your personal life? It also affects your personal life in some way?
Yes, I do.
And how can you explain?
How can I explain? Okay, so in my personal life, my husband and I are having marital problems because the noise level this church is disrupting our family. We can't communicate, we can't get things done. It's because this church is so loud, these children cry, they're not being attended to. Their parents are being reckless drivers, and they're driving, it's just causing a rift in our marriage. But regardless of what's going on in my marital situation, it is personal. So regardless of that, there's still a problem. We still have a problem. You didn't have to stop this, keep going. There still is a problem. So I don't quite get your line of questioning right there about my marriage and how it.
Well, I just wanted to clear that up to understand how everything is
You just want to
connected.
make
We
sure
wanna know
you
how
knew
much
how
you're
I
affected.
felt.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Okay.
want to know how much you and your husband are being affected by the
We're being
problem. So
affected
it's-
by
We need to
this
know.
problem.
Everyone needs to know how affected the neighbors are
Right.
because of this new program.
Right.
So Pastor Grace, as the facility you guys are running, is it, everything is legal and you guys have a full staff?
Yes,
Is
of
there a
course.
reason why you think that Ms. Loughlin thinks that?
Yes, it's
It's not
because they're
funny
such
about
young
it?
children. 2 months to 2 years old is a lot, and they cry because they're hungry, they cry for different reasons, but they're definitely well taken care of. We love those children. We would never neglect any single one of them. We love
Does your
every single
facility have a full staff?
Mhm,
of the children?
We definitely do. We take care of all the children, and we just feel like the neighbors have recently just become very aggressive with the church, and we've never had this before. It's very shocking, and we've never heard people tell the children to shut up before. I've never heard that in my life. It's very
Well,
shocking.
I personally have never spoken such words to these children. So, I mean, it's sad to hear that. I hate to see adults act so recklessly, but I've never personally said anything. But, I mean, you can't control everyone's actions, and when you're upset, things happen. That still is no excuse to talk to children that way. But I just don't see why there's this noise level.
So I think we can all agree that yelling at the children to shut up and all that stuff is definitely out of the question, and it shouldn't be done, right?
Yes, it shouldn't be done.
I have one question for this program.
Mhm.
Has there been an age difference between programs? Maybe earlier programs had kids that were in later
Yes.
stages of life?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
maybe
So
is that
these
why?
are, we tried to reach out to new parents and that are trying to get back and implement and have, good lives by taking, going to work, and we want to be able to take care of their children for those of them that, they're not old enough to go to school. So that's why, there has been a noise issue, but we're definitely taking well care of them, and I can understand that when they're outside, we can't help, when they're loud, just like at a school with, children play and they have fun. And we do it within reasonable hours, and we definitely take care of all of our children. And, we try to be as respectful as we can to the neighbors, but I feel like we're not getting that back from them.
Pastor Grace, how often are you at the church personally?
7 days a week.
And you're there full-time all the time?
I'm there full-time, but the 7 days a week that I go, some days, are short.
And you're there during the schooling hours?
Yes. Take care of the
Okay.
children.
And you say that you have this staff that are well trained and qualified to care for the children and watch over them and things?
Correct. We do have the right staff to take care of all the children.
So how do you guys run your system over there? How are your staff picked? I've tried to speak to you on multiple occasions over the phone, and I was just never able to reach you.
I apologize for that. We have, various nurses that take care of all of the
Yeah.
children.
They said that you were in at the time.
Yeah, I am unaware of that, but I'm there to take care of the children. We have other staff to take care of the children. We're
Right,
definitely
so
taking
there
care
needs
of
to be a communication. You guys need to communicate better in the church. I feel that you guys are not communicating appropriately. I mean, you're not on the same page, because I'm calling up there, they're telling me that you're not there. You're telling me that you're always there. And there's been nothing done. I don't understand why I can make phone calls and call, and they're, oh, you're not, I've never been helped. So this staff that you have that is qualified and trained, I don't feel they're doing their job.
Okay.
So on several occasions, you tried to reach out to
I have.
Pastor Grace.
Okay. Well, I will speak with myself on that behalf, but, because you should be able to.
Yeah, maybe
I
Pastor
should.
Grace can talk to her staff about trying
Right.
to get, being
And
able
work
to
on
talk
some
to
communication skills.
So the main concerns were noise level, the,
cars.
the quality of the staff, well, yeah, the traffic, the quality of the staff, which that they're nurses and they, do you have any
Apparently.
volunteers as well?
Yes,
And you have proof of these, right?
yes.
So,
She claims,
Well,
why would you lie, right?
if there is proof that they're qualified, then they should be deemed qualified, and so then they are taken care of. We can agree on that. And so let's focus on the traffic and the noise level.
Now,
How
are
can
there,
I
Okay,
fix
well, you're
that?
addressing her concerns, and I get that, but what about my concerns? What about them telling us to shut up? and
Oh, yeah,
to-
no, that's very wrong.
Well,
That
yeah.
should not happen.
Right.
I think we all agree
How
that
do you think we
that
can
was-
fix this? How do you think we can tell or limit that or put a stop to that kind of behavior?
Are you asking me for whose behavior? Because I'm concerned with the neighbors.
Exactly, for the neighbors' behavior. How do you think we can go about
Is it all the
Putting a
neighbors,
stop
or
to
is
that.
it just specific
I
ones? that
don't know. I know
Have
there's
there been-
just several neighbors I've been honking and,
have there been
Yeah,
like
yeah.
recurring characters maybe that have done this, have repeated?
just different neighbors that,
So it
I'm
sounds
sure.
like there's like a communication issue, because the neighbors and your facility, your church, don't really have like any discussion going on. So you
Basically,
guys
because they
know.
don't answer the phone.
Yeah, so maybe if we can have a way of you communicating with the neighbors, I mean, you guys are church, so you should be able to like talk to your neighbors and let them know that this isn't okay, they shouldn't be yelling at the children. I'm sure they'd understand that they can't be doing this.
Well, most definitely. I mean, we have meetings every week, and I am able to speak to them. But yeah, because that's not right of them to do so. But I mean, like I said before, you can't control people's actions, and people do things when they're upset and when they feel they're not being answered to, and when they feel they're not being helped. So, but that is still not acceptable. But I mean, I can have a discussion with them to make sure that doesn't happen anymore, so that's so not appropriate.
You know, we can try and limit the children's time that they do go outside, because I know that amplifies the loudness to
I
all
think
the
that would be
neighborhood.
great.
Yeah.
So maybe we can come up with a time that the children are allowed to be outside and just lower the noise level.
Yeah, they're definitely being well taken care of. It's just the age is just, you know, it's difficult. They
It's a lot
cry
to handle, yeah.
all day, you know, but we love those children. We've never neglected any of them, and we
Yeah, I
try
hope
to
not.
take care of all.
Do you think publicizing the schedule of, you know, what the children do at the daycare, do you think that'd be beneficial for everyone? So that the neighbors would know when they're being, you know, outside?
Yeah, definitely. I can create a schedule for the neighbors to, you know, and hand out a form for them and let them know the schedule of the children. And definitely try to keep it to a minimum, but as I said, you know, it's 2 months to 2 years. It's a little difficult,
Yeah.
but
And so does your church have a parking lot available?
we do. We have a parking lot, and I can, you know, I can ensure and talk to the parents and tell them, you know, that their driving has been reckless to the neighbors, and it's a big concern to them, and I'll let them know about that, and you know, because that's not right, especially with young children around, their children around. So I will create something for them as well, just so they're not driving so recklessly.
Have
in the
you
neighborhood.
spoken to the county? Is the church in county got guidelines and is zoned properly? Because I feel like it's not. I feel like I would see more signs on the street. I mean, usually around a school, like you see 25 miles per hour or less, like stop and crossing and things. I don't see those signs, so I'm not sure if you are properly zoned with the county. Are you?
I don't believe we are, so.
So I think that needs to
Yeah,
happen.
so maybe we can somehow connect with the county and discuss with them what we can put
Yeah.
outside of the church. So,
To help regulate
yeah,
these
so
reckless
the
drivers
roads.
and community members coming to church.
Also regarding the parking lot, do you think it's large enough for the amount of parents that come?
It is. We have 2 acres of land.
Okay.
It's just, there's just a lot of, you know, over 60 children.
And again, yeah, you guys are allowed to have this many children?
Yes,
Are you
yes.
permitted?
We have a big enough
Okay.
vicinity and enough staff.
Okay.
What other options do you have if we cannot reach an agreement today? Do you have any?
What other options, what other solutions?
Options, solutions, needs? Do you think it's doable for both?
Well, I mean, it's very doable. I mean, it's not doable. I will continue my lawsuit.
Of course.
Time is money, baby.
And I'm
You know,
sure,
time.
I'm sure Pastor Grace does not want a lawsuit against them.
Right,
because they
Right,
are
we do have attorneys that go to our church, and so, you know, if that wouldn't take it that far, we do have, you know, people that would take care of us as well, so it's not just
Right.
your end.
Right.
We wouldn't want a lawsuit though because
Yeah,
it's
mind
really
you, mind
costly
you.
and.
It's costly, it takes a
They
lot
don't
of
want a
time,
lawsuit. I could care less.
but it takes time, correct?
It could take time.
And it can be easier, right, to find a solution right now.
If you know
which
what
we
you're
do.
doing. I work for a pretty large law firm.
You're being a bit aggressive right
I'm being aggressive.
now.
I'm so sorry, Pastor Grace. I don't want to be aggressive towards you.
Yeah, let's try to respect each other and
I think I'm being very respectful.
okay.
So what have we agreed on?
I've definitely talked to the parents and create a form for them, you know, let them know that their driving is unacceptable, and talk to the community about getting some road signs and see what they say about the limited miles per hour. Because I definitely agree that that's unacceptable as well. And I can agree that I will limit the children's hours outside and, you know, go throughout the community to share when we are.
Right. And communicate with your staff.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Follow up
also
the
don't
street.
want the neighbors.
Oh,
disrespectfully
yeah,
talking
I'll
to the
so
children.
handle that this meeting. I mean, I'll have a talk with them, and that won't happen anymore because that's so disrespectful, and we don't want to be aggressive toward the Church of God.
So you guys have a weekly meetings?
We do.
Okay.
We do as part of our homeowners association. So we discussed that we do pay a lot of money to keep this neighborhood nice. I mean, financial resources are our problem, so.
Okay, so maybe Pastor Grace can come up with the schedule and have it sent to you, so you can
And we can post it
share
most definitely. You
to
wouldn't
the
even have
neighbors.
to. I know money's tight, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have to print it. You got it. Just as long as you make the schedule and communicate with, make sure your staff knows the schedule and, yeah.
Okay.
But,
Do you guys have any other complaints or needs that
Any
come to
other
you?
pressing matters?
No,
Have we covered
I feel like
everything?
I feel like I've said
yeah.
all my concerns.
I mean, as long as the children, I guess, play less outside and are taken care of and not neglected, I don't, and the noise level will decrease. I really won't have a problem, but I have a question. Maybe you can start a donation at your Sunday service. How many services do you guys have on Sunday?
Oh, we have several services.
Okay, well, maybe you can do a donation in every service to help.
We do.
Better, I mean, because you do raise funds to help better the appearance of the church, correct?
Yeah, we raise funds for a lot of things. We raise funds for a lot of the community. That's why our church isn't, it's great because it's more for the community, not the church. But yeah, if we can, get a fair amount of donations, we can
Help
help take
clean
care of the
that
church.
up a little bit,
Mhm.
and that would be nice. I would also suggest, resources. You have to take advantage of where you are. I would walk around the neighborhood, meet some of us, get us involved, reach out to us. Maybe we can come to this church and see what it's all about. I mean, I go to a church in a different community because I don't think the church is. Anyway, I don't go to the church, but maybe other members of the community, of the actual community, could come to the church and help donate to the cause and help better it. I mean, you are part of this community and you don't like the way the church looks.
We can set up donations for the church.
So reach, outreach.
Yeah, they're willing to make donations towards our church.
Okay, so do you think we all came to an agreement? Are you guys satisfied with?
I'm satisfied as long as they cut the hours outside. You contact the county and make sure you're zoned properly because that's illegal and that's like another lawsuit. And we stop this whole traffic situation because that needs to be eradicated. And
And
Feel
the
safe.
children need to be
yeah,
not
they
being yelled at.
right, they won't be yelled at by
Strangers. Okay.
the neighbors.
So I think we can come to an agreement. We can sign this. You guys can sign this.
And thank you for coming today, working this out, finding a solution that can help both of you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
You couldn't like.
It was just the kids.
Hello, we are Group 5.
Hi.
Hopefully you already know our names. I'm Rudy, this is Kaylee, Ashley, and Sabrina. And this is debrief number 4
For the church.
for the Church of God. So what do you guys think?
I think this one was really good. I think it was a lot different than the other ones because it was like a church involved, and I think that's like a whole nother level of mediation. 'Cause it's almost like we don't know particular things, what we can say, and,
Yeah.
or even what to say as mediators. It was kind
Or how
It
we
was
should
kinda hard.
behave, no?
of, yeah, how we should
As the
behave.
church member.
Mm-hmm.
I think we tend to be a little bit less aggressive
Yeah.
because they're from a church and they're trying to reach the community in positive ways. So I think the mediation kind of suffered. I mean, the time suffered from that. So I think we were more inclined to find a solution faster because we were people from church. And I guess we labeled them as good people.
We didn't want to
Yeah.
have I feel like we didn't want to have too much discussion.
Yeah, we didn't
like,
have
back
too
and
much
forth,
discussion.
Yeah.
because it was like in the church.
Right.
Yep.
And I mean, you were going against big time lawyers apparently who were
Yeah.
supposed to be aggressive. But it was, I think this one was harder than the other past ones.
I think so too.
I didn't quite know what to say. Like, I didn't know, can I be this aggressive? I mean, we're mediating with the church, so I don't know, like, how mean or how aggressive I can be.
But some people, like, some people don't believe in God or the
Yeah.
church, so you can be completely
True.
aggressive, because some people probably would do that in real life.
Like in a real
okay,
setting,
I
yeah,
don't
it would
believe
be
what you think, so I'm
natural.
gonna treat you how I would.
But I also think it's harder to find a solution from a church, from a nonprofit organization, because they have limited funds and they can't
Yeah,
you
very
know,
limited.
they can't change drastically, in a way that people wish them to change. So I mean that also went against us, and I think the fact pattern was a little bit. I don't know. I felt like a lot of like if we had more information, we could
It's
totally
vague.
play. It was kind of a little more vague than the last one. I mean, the dirt bike one had like 2 pages of information. This one was a little bit like, I don't know. We need a little bit more
We had
information.
to come up with more things. on
Yeah.
our own, I think, than other ones.
Most definitely on the spot, just thinking,
Yeah.
okay, what else?
Yeah. But other than that, solid.
Yeah, we're getting a lot better at mediating
Mhm.
and saying stuff, so we did really good, I love what we said, and compared to like our first times, we
Yeah,
were a lot
definitely.
quiet, but, yeah, we're getting more comfortable in like communicating as mediators.
Discussing, yeah, I agree.
Okay. That was it. Debrief 5, and we're ready for the next ones. So see you later.
Thank you.